to ring the bells at the chimes. That way, get a little sense of familiarity, like we're actually here in the sanctuary today. I would like to start with our announcements. We have a lot of announcements today, so pay attention here. First one, of course, is our classes. There on Tuesday at 7, we have the Let's Get Metaphysical class. Now, I'll get back to that in a minute. And then on Thursday, the ARE group meets at 6:30 in the evening, and then at 8 o'clock in the evening, there is this collaborative meditation taking place between, right now we're up to 6 Unity Centers: San Angelo, Bernie, San Antonio, Corpus Christi, Brownsville, and ourselves. So it's getting very interesting. We have a little group meditation. And the interesting part that I just said I'm going to get back to about the Let's Get Metaphysical is some of those people are starting to join us as well. And so this last Tuesday, we had people from San Angelo and San Antonio, Corpus, Brownsville. So it was really nice. It's getting really interesting. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have ask Myrna to, on the web page, to actually set up a little section or a page or something that says Zoom time or whatever it's what we want to call it, Zoom classes, and just list out all the links on there. That way you can readily find them, and we don't have to be worried about where do I get them and stuff. And I'll get Melissa to post them in our Facebook also. And I don't know, we'll just try to figure out where else we can post it. That way it's there all the time. Let me see what else I got going on. Oh yes, on Saturday, the 18th, which will be this coming Saturday from today, Bernie up in Unity San Antonio is going to have a pet blessing. Now, if you've never had a pet blessing or you're pet blessed, then I will put that information up as well, and you can register for it. And I've never seen a pet blessing. I've heard of them, so I'm going to be there definitely to witness it. Should be interesting. Let me see if I have anything else. Oh, the bookstore. We're kind of accumulating a lot of the magazines and the daily words and stuff because there's no traffic here. So remember that Lynn is here on Thursday mornings, roughly about 10-ish, let's say. If you want to come by and pick up a magazine or something, please feel free to do that. I would like to begin by offering our love and our prayers and our support to all the healthcare workers that are in the front lines of this pandemic struggle. God bless them and keep them safe. I'd like to begin with some healing words that I've been working on healing words lately, because we have a lot of healing to do in this country in many ways, in many, many ways. I express healing and wholeness. Divine intelligence infuses all parts of my mind and body. This intelligence means I can breathe and digest automatically, and my cells regenerate without any conscious effort on my part. The natural order of life is to express wholeness. I recognize any pain or discomfort as a signal that something in my body requires attention. As I receive these signals, I am guided to the perfect solution. My positive attitude and openness are critical to my experience of healing. I attune my thoughts and feelings to the God presence within, and I trust that all the cells, tissues, and organs are now working together perfectly. I choose to keep my attention on the many ways my body continues to bless me. I am a vibrant expression of healing and wholeness. From Matthew 9:22, take heart, your faith has made you well. I express healing and wholeness. Now let's share in the invocation shared throughout all the Unity Centers around the world. There is only one presence and one power active in the universe and in my life, God the good, omnipotent.
Just an example for mankind. I will be grateful. I don't think anyone will mind if I live my best life gratefully. If I live my best life, if I live my best life, if I live my best life gratefully, gratefully, gratefully. I'm thankful for y'all. Have a wonderful day. Thank you so much. If you find you've reached the end, you still have me. If you want me, I'll be there to love you. When you're tired of chasing rainbows, when you reach your lowest low, when you reach out to me, I'll be there. I'll be there to love you. I'm the rock that will not roll away. You can count on me, baby, yeah, 'cause I'll be there to love you. I'll be there to love you. I must have cried a river dry. I miss you desperately. With every breath, I'm begging, please come back to me. Come back to me. 'Cause I'll be there to love you. When you're tired of chasing rainbows, when you reach your lowest low, when you reach out to me, I'll be there. I'll be there to love you. I'm the rock that will not roll away, and you can count on me, 'cause I'll be there to love you. I'll be there to love you. La da 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 da, ba da ba ba, da 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 da. La da 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 da, ba da ba ba, da 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 da. I'll be there to love you. When you're tired of chasing rainbows, when you reach your lowest low, when you reach out to me, I'll be there. I'll be there to love you. I'm not going anywhere. You can count on me. Oh, you can count on me. Oh, you can count on me. 'Cause I'll be there to love you. I'll be there to love you. I'll be there to love you. Thank you.
Let's now join together in Unity's affirmation and vision. Unity of the Valley is an expanding center of the Christ light, mighty to attract its good and radiate good to others. Centered in God, we express the indwelling Christ.
As we start this time of inner reflection, let's begin by getting comfortable. Remove all objects from your lap, place your feet on the floor, and sit up comfortably in your chair. Relax the muscles in your face, shoulders, arms, hands, and fingers. Feel your hips, legs, feet, and toes relax as well. Release any areas of tension you feel in your body. Take a deep, centering breath. Slowly inhale, gently hold for a few seconds, and then slowly exhale. Repeat a few times. Focus on your inhalation and exhalation as you continue to relax your body. Gently breathe in and out. Just relax and breathe naturally. You now feel the increased sense of relaxation to your body with every breath. Feel calmness and peace wash over you. Now let's center our attention to the daily word, which for today is guidance. Our Bible verse is from Psalms chapter 25, verse 5. Make us to know your ways, O Lord. Teach us your paths. Today's affirmation is, I am divinely guided. Let's say that together once. I am divinely guided. Our message reads, guidance can be easy to find in the outer world. Maps and GPS technology can help me navigate my way just about anywhere. Everywhere I go, there are signs marking streets, adorning storefronts, and providing just about every kind of information and opinion imaginable. Spiritual guidance is often not as evident, but it is much more valuable. This guidance can come to me as a persistent tug on my attention, as a gut feeling or intuition, or even in a dream as I sleep. I pay attention to the guidance I receive and step out in faith to move my steps in its direction. I know that the spirit of wisdom and love within me are always guiding me in blessing of greater peace, love, and prosperity. Now let's close our eyes and take these words and this affirmation into the silence.
Silence down in my soul. I love the silence down in my soul. I love the silence down in my soul, and the whole wide world is my home. I've got a new day down in my soul. I've got a new day down in my soul. I've got a new day down in my soul, and the whole wide world is my home.
Today's guest speaker is licensed Unity teacher Michael Scales.
Hello, friends. Today's lesson is about failure. Specifically, it's entitled Overcoming Failure. I know on the Unity page it says failure, overcoming. That's because that's how I submitted it. But it's really overcoming failure. It's an issue that all human beings face. It's something we all are challenged by from time to time. And it's something that we definitely need to overcome. So we're going to be discussing overcoming failure once and for all. And I want to start with a cultural reference that those of you of a certain generation, mine and maybe slightly younger, will definitely remember. You probably remember back in the day seeing a man on TV in countless commercials holding up a Remington razor. And he would say, "I like this razor so much, I bought the company." Well, that gentleman's name was Victor Kiam. And there's something else about him you probably don't know. 46 years ago, Victor Kiam had a friend come to him with an idea, an investment opportunity. And Victor wavered on this idea. He didn't know if he really had it in him to take the idea and run with it and make it a success. So he told his friend to find someone else. Well, that new idea that he turned down the opportunity to invest in was Velcro. And of course, Velcro has become a billion-dollar industry, bigger than Remington. And in his book, Live to Win, Victor talked about that experience. He said, "I just look at that as another bump in the road." But he also said if I would have allowed it, it would have destroyed me and my life. I had a choice. I had to make that choice. I realized this for several weeks, even months. I allowed it to depress me deeply. I couldn't even get out of bed some days. Then I decided to use the wisdom from that experience to make a course correction in my life. You know, sometimes our past failures can affect us like that, to the very core of our being. We don't know how to go forward. And when this happens, we're using the power of the mind, of course, in the wrong way. We give over all of our God-given gifts of mind to human pessimism. And we might say to ourselves, "Oh, well, I've tried that before. I didn't have any success at it, and I would never do that ever again. I'm too smart for that." Well, that's not really smart, as we're going to see in a moment. Because if we take that attitude, what we're doing is identifying with failure and letting it define us and, of course, limit us. As truth students, we know better than that. But it's a habit we've learned, and it's something that we repeat, and it's something that we need to overcome. So we're going to talk today about overcoming failure. And specifically, we're going to take a look at the 3 elements or steps to overcoming failure, which are reframing failure, refusing to internalize failure, and enlisting God's help in eliminating failure. So let's move right into that first step, reframing failure. What does that mean? Well, first of all, let's take a look at a definition of failure. This is from the Merriam-Webster Online Dictionary, and then I've added a little element of my own here that wasn't included there that I think is a good definition for failure as well. So failure is, obviously, a lack of success, a falling short or a deficiency, and I added a failure is an action that produces something other than the desired results. An action that produces something other than the desired results. Now, this is how we define failure. And when you look at that definition, there's really nothing there that says it's a final thing. We add in, as human beings, that element of finality to it, so that when we experience failure, we tend to take on that idea that that failure is some kind of final statement about us. And that's what we have to do in terms of reframing failure. When I say reframing, I mean giving it a different definition. So we need to stop using the word failure, because that word is fraught with that sense of finality and that sense of it being a pronouncement about me or you or whoever's using it as a person. So we need to take a lesson from successful people. Successful people, when they talk about failures they've had, usually don't use that word. They'll say, well, I had a glitch back then, or I had a bump in the road back then. Now, these glitches and these bumps in the road could have destroyed them, but they had something else. They had a drive that said, you know, I've got the power within me, and that power comes from God, and I'm going to go on, and I'm going to make something of myself. I know that that glitch, that bump in the road does not signify anything permanent about me, but it's just something that I need to learn from. And so they do. And anybody who had that idea of the indwelling power ingrained into the very fiber of their belief system can go on and become all that they want to become. So when we look at it this way, we see that so-called failure is merely the cost of succeeding. It's the cost of seeking new challenges in our lives. When we do new things, a lot of times we're going into territory that's unknown, so we might not get the results that we intend to get going into those experiences. But we've all had failures, because if we hadn't, we wouldn't be alive. We're breathing in and out, we're thinking positively again, and we're holding on to God. And we're studying truth for a reason, seeking God's blessing because we do not want to remain the same. Not even the same as yesterday. We want to become new and better than yesterday. That's the ongoing human urge. We're always seeking to expand and move into newer and better levels of existence and living and manifesting our divine nature. So the first step in overcoming failure then is to stop using that word with any degree of finality and instead call these events that don't produce the desired results, a bump in the road, a glitch, an unsuccessful attempt, trying something that didn't work, etc. None of those expressions carry the meaning of finality. They all imply that it was a learning experience. It's said that Thomas Edison, who tried 3,000 different light bulbs, none of which functioned successfully until he finally found one that worked, said, I didn't fail 3,000 times. I just discovered 3,000 light bulbs that didn't work, and then I found the one that did. See, that's what reframing is. You see how differently that the different emotional charge looking at unsuccessful attempts that way gives. So that's the first step, reframing failure. The second step is to refuse to internalize failure or identify with it. So the second step then is to insist that failure is a word that describes an action or an event, but never a person. It's easy to get discouraged when we try something that doesn't work out and say to ourselves, well, that's it. I'm a loser. I'm just no good. I've had this failure, and if the truth were known, I've had 16,000 failures. One after another after another. I'm just a loser. I'll never be anything but a loser. Well, see, that's the very epitome of internalizing failure, trying something that doesn't work. And even if we've had many, many attempts that didn't work, taking that on as part of our character and saying, well, obviously, since I've tried all these times and it didn't succeed, I don't have the capacity to succeed. We've got to not do that because, most importantly, it's simply not true. When we try things that don't work, we're just learning. We're not failing. So when we look at that statement in the context, that statement that I'll never be anything but a loser, in the context of how we just reframed failure, we can see that it's actually absurd. The fact that we try something that doesn't yield the desired results doesn't mean in any way, shape, or form that we can never succeed. It just means that we've learned another approach that doesn't work. Every one of those learning events takes us closer to the result we're striving for. I remember taking a sales course many years ago in which we were taught a way of reframing no's from prospective customers. You try to sell them something and they say no. This reframing used the example of selling a product that cost $100. Now imagine that you spoke with 10 prospects about your product, and the first 9 of them said, no, I won't buy that product. It could be easy to conclude after 7 or 8 tries that you were never going to make a sale. But if you're persistent, you get to that 10th person who says, why yes, I've been looking for just that kind of item. I'll certainly buy it. So the reframing involves seeing that if it took talking to 10 people to earn $100, you actually got $10 for each person you talked to. So each no was a $10 step to that final amount of $100. A totally different way of looking at rejection, or what salespeople call failure. So that's what we mean by not internalizing it, realizing that the word failure describes an event or an action or an attempt, not a person. And the third step in overcoming failure is always to seek God's guidance and help in everything we do. And of course, as Unity students, we know that's what it's all about, working with God on everything, allowing God to work through us. God, of course, will never let you down, ever. God will give you ideas if you turn to God for guidance, for successful ideas. They'll pour forth, and you'll be blessed by God, and you won't even be able to contain the ideas. They'll come so fast. So when we go into prayer, we give thanks to God for the perfect answer that's already there, even if we don't know it yet at the time. And then we tell ourselves, whatever the challenge is, I have God working through me. So as we used to say when I was a kid, that's no hill for a climber, that's no step for a stepper, because I'm blessed by and empowered by God. And the Bible is full of references to God being a source of success. Psalms 37:4 says, delight yourself in the Lord, and he will give you the desires of your heart. It's another one of those wonderful if-then statements in the Bible that I like so much. If you do this, then this will happen. If you delight yourself in the Lord, meaning if you make union with God your primary goal in life, then he will give you the desires of your heart. H. Emily Cady, in Lessons in Truth, gives 4 fantastic affirmations for success. They cover everything in life, really. And I want to share those because these are something we can use in our prayer times to give us that power to be successful and overcome failure. So affirmation number 1 is, God is life, love, intelligence, substance, omnipotence, omniscience, omnipresence. Just reminding ourselves that that's what this one presence and one power is. Number 2, and this is key, I am a child or manifestation of God, and every moment his life, love, wisdom, power flow into and through me. I am one with God and am governed by his law. Number 3, I am spirit, perfect, holy, harmonious. Nothing can hurt me or make me sick or afraid, for spirit is God, and God cannot be sick or hurt or afraid. I manifest my real self through this body now. And affirmation number 4, God works in me to will and to do whatever he wishes me to do, and he cannot fail. That's a very powerful set of thoughts to internalize. That's what we need to internalize, those thoughts about ourselves. So that's right, God cannot fail. And as long as we're aligned with God in consciousness, we cannot fail. We align ourselves with God by reframing failure as steps to success, refusing to internalize or identify with failure, and by regularly turning to God within in prayer and meditation. So I want to close with one of my favorite scriptures. This is Psalm 1. And in this passage, the words wicked and sinners and scoffers metaphysically just refer to false and limiting beliefs. And so this is how this passage goes. It says, "Happy are those who do not follow the advice of the wicked, or take the path that sinners tread, or sit in the seat of scoffers. But their delight is in the law of the Lord, and on his law they meditate day and night. They are like trees planted by streams of water, which yield their fruit in its season, and their leaves do not wither. In all they do, they prosper." And that is overcoming failure. God bless you.
Thank you very much, Michael, for those words. Now comes a time in our service when we take our tithes and our offerings in our mental hands, in our virtual hands, and together we say, "Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive." Everything I see, everything I do is blessed by your hand, God. I'll give it back to you. Everything I give, every thought that's true is magnified in kind, God. I'll give it back to you. Thank you very much for joining us today. And remember, I forgot to mention during the tithes that we have Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, and of course checks to P.O. Box 1661 in FAR, Texas 78577. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Be safe. Have a blessed week. And so it is.